guys? I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here today to talk a little bit about Decimated Comics, Decimated DC. But before we get into it, please look down below. Please do hit that like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications as we are off to the races to get to 10,000 subs this year. Let this be the year that you join us on this venture as we hold hands, watching the comic industry burn down book by book, I guess. All right, so I'm doing this video alone today, no Yanzi, but I think I can do it. I do think I can do it, guys. I saw this news today. Somebody sent it to me, and we're going to have a previous video that's probably coming out this either after or before this, but it's about some comic book shops closing. And we're at that point. We're at that point where people are evaluating, 1 year ended financially, and you're kind of looking forward. Well, what am I going to do different next year? What am I going to, what could I do to better myself? What is my New Year's resolution? And your resolution may be to get the F out of comics or to file for bankruptcy in this case. So we've seen companies like Aftershock filing for bankruptcy. We're seeing a number of comic book shops in the American comic book retail space that have only been open for about 3 or 4 years. Again, another video shutting down and one opening up in New Zealand. Like, that's really going to help. And right now, we're looking at another one that's filing for bankruptcy. And this is coming after a comic book company. Basically, this is a muddle of shit, all coming, house of cards, if you will, coming down. Basically, Aftershock filed for bankruptcy. There's a lot of freelancers saying they're not getting paid. All these PPP loans, I know that sounds like a lot of PP. They're out. They're gone. The comic book market is inflated with books nobody buys. And if nobody's buying these books, there's no money. But wait, the industry's been doing better than ever, according to the Shill comic book media. This is the message that really led a lot of people to end up filing for bankruptcy or shutting their businesses down. The Shill media, turns out comics are not dying. Don't believe those charlatan con men, which would be this guy. Don't believe me. Well, you don't have to. You can keep investing in what Rich Johnson or the, Comic-Con tells you, and not really look at the data, just the headline. But if you look at the data, it's manga and YA that's been propping up the American comic book industry. This was the greatest lie ever done in any industry, is taking credit for sales, cooking the books, if you will, for a narrative that woke comics sell when they don't. And that's really what this is going to come down to. But this is a little bit different in a way. This is actually, according to Rich Johnson, this time, this is Frankie's Comics, specializing in variant covers, declares bankruptcy. Now, they were a brick and mortar store that had shut down, and they said, well, we're just going to go online. Now, that makes a lot of sense for some people because you can just do pre-orders online and ship the books to people. You don't have to pay for a brick and mortar store. You won't have walkthrough traffic, but you are like, well, I'm only going to, if people order 10 copies of Superman, I'm selling 10 copies of Superman. I don't have to guesstimate what to order on the shelves and hope for walkthrough traffic and stuff. I get rid of my rent, my utility bills, all of that stuff. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about your store getting broke into. There's a lot of things you don't have to worry about. Now, you're going to lose some other business, but it's more of a stable business in theory, you would think. But then they started delving into variant covers. Now, local comic book shop. This is very important. When Steve Jeppy in the shutdown did basically a live stream talking about the business, there was something that slipped up there, and that he said he thought about, I might be wrong, but something like 1/3 of the sales were propped up by Marvel and DC were propped up by variant covers. Now, sometimes for some people, if you're new to this channel, this might boggle your mind. But retail covers are incentives that retailers have to qualify to even get. But on top of that, a retailer can buy their own cover. Now, this at first seemed like kind of a cool one-off event, sure. But the reality is a retailer has to basically order anywhere between like 3,000 copies minimum. And then from there, once they've unlocked a 3,000 copy order, then they can do a 1,500 order and then a 1,000 order. So what this caused is people like, well, I've already unlocked a 3,000 copy order. Why don't I do a black and white version of the same cover artwork for 1,500? And then there I can do one without a logo called a virgin cover for another 1,000. So now you're already in for like something like 1,500 copies of a book. Now, why would Marvel and DC do this? Could it not cause somebody to end up filing for bankruptcy one day if they can't sell these books at a markup, which is what it is? They rarely ever sell these things for a cover price. Well, no, because they get to add those numbers into their sales of their units. And that's why Marvel and DC does this. They're passing the buck to somebody else. If they want to take the risk, they get all the reward. They own the artwork. Believe it or not, at the end of the day, if Marvel and DC want to put this artwork on a t-shirt, they can. The comic book retailer actually usually pays for the artwork on top of it, and they maybe get to pick the artist and get the design, the comp, or control what is approved to some degree, but it still goes through Marvel and DC. It absolutely still goes through Marvel and DC. In the case of this retailer, I went in and added up everything that he owes, and there's a list of everybody he owes. Now, there's a couple of key players here that's very important, and one of them is Diamond Comics. He actually owes Diamond Comics money, and this is how everything's tied together in this industry, how like one company going under and this guy's going under and filing for bankruptcy and stuff like this actually will have an effect on Diamond. So now Diamond's they're losing. Aftershock, who was one of their premier like publishers, they're filing for bankruptcy. They owe money. They probably owe money even to Diamond and printers and stuff like this. And these guys are all together in the same like I don't know, like business ecosystem, right? The guy printing, he can't be owed money because he has to print other people's books, and then that puts undue pressure on his business. And then Diamond's got undue pressure because Aftershock's going under. This guy's going under, owing Diamond money, and this is the house of cards, guys. I added everything up. This guy, the top 20 here that he owes, and it comes up like no bullshit, $900,422, $221. Okay, so the guy's right up under $1 million. This is just one guy that sells variant covers owes $1 million. He's $1 million in debt. Okay, now that's nothing to do with him. He got caught up in a predatory publishing practice by publishers, Marvel and DC, trying to inflate their numbers because nobody's reading their books. Now, if you look at his site, and guys, if you guys look, he's just filing for bankruptcy. He's not going out of business. This is to stabilize his business. And I love that he points out in his statement that he released that, you know, he's doing this just like General Motors, Hertz, Chrysler, and he ends with Marvel Entertainment. Yes, guys, Marvel Entertainment had filed for bankruptcy in the 90s, also selling off a lot of their properties to people like Sony and Fox that they would end up having to buy back just to keep the lights on and pay off some other debts. They had to make some really bad business moves with their properties. So today I see a lot of Boom Studios. I see covers, Power Rangers, some DC Comics, Marvel, of course, DC Comics. I was looking through here, but then I did a search. I was like, I'm kind of curious, you know, maybe some IDWs and whatever. But I was a little curious. I'm like, what else? What else? Dynamite, got some Dynamite variants. Sure. I checked Aftershock, another company that went out of business, bankruptcy. They were selling variants for their properties, their books. And this is how, again, like everybody's kind of tied together. What, you know, an invisible thread of the comic book industry. What is this year going to look like? 2023, a lot of people, you know, they're making drastic business decisions. They're trying to course correct, change things. What do you guys think below? Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification, guys, as we're going to try to cover this and navigate this the best we can. And while you're at it, why don't you go check out Inglorious Rex, up and funding right now. This is my third campaign, second delivered. Okay, Inglorious Rex, if you love Rocky, if you love Godzilla, go check out the campaign. We have lots of buying options for you. Now, I'll leave you guys with the trailer for this smash hit monster beat 'em up book, Inglorious Rex.
Stepped on the scene, I got greatness all in my jeans. Ain't no way that I can slow down. I'm laced Next up, look how I shake the ground. Can't touch the ground, but you can kiss the ring. Close your eyes and see how I live a dream. I'm too smooth, MJ with the lean. Don't be fooled, I came through with the team. This is over their heads, how high can it go? I'm too over the edge, got my eyes on the goal. And we right back at it, keep them right on their toes. Look at the way that I move, this is all that I know. Cause I got the drive, I put it in gear. Line them up, I don't see no competitors here. If it ain't first place, we really can't settle for it. Listen up, listen up. Get ready for it.